Well, the suicide rates among firefighters are alarming, and some worry it's going to get worse before it gets better.
It's a national battle that is personal for one now retired Milwaukee firefighter. Fox 6's Suzanne Spencer with how he is using his story to encourage other first responders to ask for help.
Position of attention is heels are together, feet are at a 45-degree angle, your hands are closed. Roll your shoulders back.
Using his voice has always come naturally to Lieutenant Brent Jones.
When I say parade, I'm going to give you a second to think.
A now retired Milwaukee firefighter, he served 23 years and counting on honor guards across the country.
It's family, honor, respect, and compassion. And that's what we try to teach everybody.
He's accustomed to following a plan, working funerals and processions for police and firefighters killed in the line of duty.
The city's not going to come in, state, feds, they're not going to come in and take care of that family. It's our job to take care of our own.
Ready? Go.
But underneath that commanding presence, Jones's life was going off script.
And there were a few times where I was so intoxicated and I would come home and I'd be sitting there by myself and I had my gun to my head 3 times. Finger on the trigger, ready to pull.
9 days after graduating high school, Jones entered the Marine Corps. He became a firefighter from Milwaukee in 2000. The son of a Wisconsin state trooper, serving others was in his blood.
I had the fortunate opportunity to teach honor guard with my dad. You learn to treat them how you want your family treated if something happened to you.
That golden rule was his guide as a firefighter and in the honor guard, where he would cover more than 500 deaths, including Appleton firefighter Mitch Lundgaard in 2019.
A guy left for work yesterday morning and probably kissed his wife and his 3 kids and said, "See you tomorrow morning."
Responsibilities that extend beyond Wisconsin.
So this one is actually those of us from Milwaukee Fire that went to Prescott, Arizona.
There, he coordinated services for the Granite Mountain Hotshots, 19 firefighters killed in the line of duty.
You can only see so much grief before it gets to you.
The toll, secondary trauma that nearly killed him.
He asked me how I was doing. I was like, it's fine. And I let it slip that I had my gun to my head. And that's when he was like, that's it, you're going to Maryland.
It was that conversation with a fellow firefighter that led Jones to the Center of Excellence in Maryland, where he'd spend 44 days in the recovery program.
But that place saved my life. And Trevor saved my life by making me go.
Inpatient treatment and conversation are 2 ways Milwaukee Fire is trying to help its own cope with the everyday trauma they experience on the job.
We are battling and we're coming to grips right now with burnout, compassion fatigue, a sense of apathy. It can be easy to have those things develop when you just go out the door and all you see is the worst, over and over again.
That's the idea behind an increase of resources like the Department of Health Services 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
This is John with the 988 Wisconsin Lifeline. May I help you?
A call, text, or chat option available to anyone, including first responders like Jones, who work long shifts, are exposed to traumatic events, and deal with the stigma surrounding asking for help.
If you don't take the time to deal with it right away, you're going to be on the next call and the next call and the next call, and it's going to compound.
And now they're going to be taking more and more calls.
His candor is also bringing change.
And without this bill, you're going to see suicides in the next 20 years double and triple within police and fire.
In 2021, Jones testified in favor of Act 29. Under the now Wisconsin law, firefighters and law enforcement diagnosed with PTSD from mental-related injuries can qualify for workers' compensation.
Over the years, you just see so many shootings and stabbings and, the car accidents and, pulling people out of burning buildings. And I always thought, we're going to rescue all of these people. In 23 years, all the people I pulled out of burning buildings, 2 lived?
Trauma, Jones acknowledges, must be talked about so the next generation of firefighters can continue their important work.
The fire department is so young that if they don't get the help, they're going to start losing them. 3/6/2000 is when I got on the job.
Retirement came this year for Jones after serving 23 years with Milwaukee Fire. He's now using his voice for continued change after almost silencing his own.
They're not going to want to do this anymore, or they're going to start taking their own life. And that's just how it's going to be if they don't get the help.
Lieutenant Jones is still teaching honor guards across the country and is now incorporating peer support in every class that he teaches, saying the simple question of asking how someone is changed his life and can change the lives of others. Suzanne Spencer, Fox 6 News.
We thank him for his service and the work he's still doing. Milwaukee Fire is also looking at the 24-hour shift model. The chief says they acknowledge sleep deprivation. That can have real physical effects on firefighters. Those conversations with the union are ongoing.
Well, I learned so much. What an insightful piece, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Great
well,
job.
I had no idea that there's a place you can go in Maryland just for firefighters.
Yeah.
He says it saved his life. That's amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. Great story. Suzanne Spencer, thank you.